Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Trending in T.I.Studios. I'm your host, Ben. Today we are doing the top 5 least favorite characters from The Walking Dead. I just did the top 5 favorite. Now we're under the least, doing it right back to back. So I'm still wearing my Trending in T.I.Studios shirt with my Don't Open Dead Inside Walking Dead hoodie. So we're going to get right into it, though. Last video was much longer than I wanted it to be, so we're going to try to speed this one up here. So, like I said in the last one, see me look over here. I'm just looking at my list. Don't have any notes because I don't feel I need them. I know the show very well. So this is a video response to May Money. You can't do a direct video response. I'll just let her know to come check me out. Come check this video out. So to give you her top 5 guys, it was the Governor, Lizzie, Dwight, Lori, and Andrea. I only have one name that matches, one, and we will see where it matches on the, and it doesn't match even in number, the one person. So her number 5 was the Governor, 4 was Lizzie, 3 was Dwight, 2 was Lori, and number 1 was Andrea. And Andrea, I kind of understand to a little extent, just because they didn't do her character right on the show. They didn't do her comic book character any justice. But that being said, she's still not in my top 5 least favorite characters. So we're going to get right into mine. And my first one here, guys, I'm just going to warn you up front. It's going to surprise you. You're going to be like, what? She's in my top 5 favorite. How could you? You heard she. Yep. How could she be in your least favorite? Well, I'm going to get to it. All right, number 5 is, drumroll, Carol. Sorry, guys. Carol just doesn't do it for me. She reminds me right now of a female Shane. Not to his extent. She cares more than Shane gives a shit about the group. In fact, she loves the group. So in that sense, she's not very Shane, she's more Rickish as far as caring about the group. But in her mental state, I see her as very Shane. She doesn't seem to be very mentally stable. She's very Morgan-like in extremes. It's either one or the other. She doesn't really have any kind of middle ground. And, I liked her story when they showed her get away from being the abused wife to the strong woman. I enjoyed that. But the killing of Karen and David, and this is where I disagree with people. They had a council. Now, they could say Rick didn't have, I've heard people say, well, Rick wasn't in charge then, he didn't have a say. That doesn't matter. There was a council in charge, and she didn't talk to anybody within the council because she was probably been told, no, slow your roll, let's play this out here, let's see what happens. And instead, she made a rush judgment, which was wrong. No matter how you play it, it was wrong. She murdered 2 people. Now, would they have died? Probably, because it took too long to, for things to happen. But she still killed them and burned their bodies without any conversation with anybody. I understand her motives may have been good. Her motives may have been for a positive reason. But if I were to kill a family member of yours and then told you, well, but here's why, and you agreed with the reason to a certain extent, you understood the reason, you still wouldn't be okay with it. And I'm not okay with her killing 2 people without talking to the group, without talking to Herschel, getting more medical advice, without, just finding out more and making a group decision. She made a decision on her own, and that's why they had a council. The dictatorship was over at the time, and they were deciding things as a group. She made a Carol tatorship decision, and she ended the life of Karen and David. And then she keeps here she is, she told Rick at one point, basically, oh, sweetheart, you don't get to have both. And here she is trying to just tuck herself away from the world and hide away. And that's kind of, she's trying to make a choice. Well, now I don't have to kill. I don't have to worry about being killed. I can take care of myself. So I don't have to kill people anymore. And it's like, in doing so, she's forgetting the group. She's being very selfish right now. She's like Morgan, but in denial more than Morgan is. And that's the weird thing is she thinks Morgan's in denial, and I think she's in more denial than even Morgan is. So, again, guys, sorry, but Carol doesn't do it for me. Is she a badass? You're damn right, Carol's a badass. She is a gangsta, as one of the guys that I watch his reaction channel says. She's definitely a gangster. For damn sure she's a gangster. But, unfortunately, she's also lost her mind, and she's kind of being a hypocrite in a lot of ways. We're going to move on. That was longer than I hoped. So here we go. Number 4, guys. Gareth, sorry. Now, they didn't do very much with him. He wasn't around very long, so my hatred is very short-lived for him. As some have called him the Apple Store guy, and I can see why. Or the Starbucks manager. Panera Bread, for those that know what that is. So, I'm just very... The guy was another hypocrite, basically. Here he was mistreated. His family members were mistreated. His mother was mistreated. There was raping going on. There was all kinds of terrible things going on. And then once he got in charge, and he reversed it, and he took things even further, and they began eating people. And, you know, I'll just say this. I'm not pro-cannibal. I'm not a fan of it. And his character just didn't do it for me. In the comic book, I like how they got him in his group a bit more than I did in the TV show. And I watched the show before the comic, but I actually like both of them, so just barely more. I definitely thought that episodes 1 and 3 of season 5 were phenomenal episodes. So Gareth's character just bothered me in every sense of being a human being, even in that kind of a world. Not cool, not acceptable. And even though not pro-death penalty, Rick was right. He couldn't let him live. If I let you live, you'll just do this to other people. You now know you can't screw with us, but you'll do it to the next person that you think that you can get, that you think you can get this pass, that you think you can take advantage of. So I'm sorry, but I can't let you live. So, now, that's all we're going to say about Gareth, guys. I mean, like I said, there's just not much to say. So, Gareth, thumbs down, not a fan of. Now, here's where we get to the matching character, the Governor. Now, I want to clarify. The Governor is an amazing character. He's a heel. He's a classic heel. You love to hate him. He is Ric Flair if you watch wrestling. He's The Miz if you watch wrestling. He's a heel. He's a true bad heel. That's why. So when I say I hate his character, it's because it was portrayed in such an amazing way. Philip was done tremendously. The Governor was so believable. I mean, he was like a politician. Yet he was cruel. He was strong. I mean, look what he did to Rick. Look what he did to Merle. He's not just a talker. He could back his shit up. He took down Merle without any issue. Some people would say he had help. Very little. Then, he had Rick dead to rights. I mean, he was beating the heck out of Rick before Michonne put her sword through him. So, there's no doubt the Governor's a badass. So when I say I hate him because you're supposed to hate him if you're a human being. But the character itself, it's like Shane. You know, the actor played him so well that I hated him. The character was written so well that I hated him. He was directed so well that I hated him. So his character was great, and that's why I hated him, like I was supposed to. And definitely glad he died. There is questions if he is more of a badass than Negan or not. I will do a video just on that another day, not today, but I will definitely do a Negan versus the Governor video. Not right now, and I'll let you know more on that next time. So let's move right on to number 2, Spencer. Spencer is your Class A douchebag, preppy jock who had all the top things in life, never had to worry about anything, and it went to his head. It's okay if you're given opportunities in life. You're not a bad person because you grew up with more opportunity. That doesn't make you a bad person. What makes you a bad person is if you can't empathize with others, which I think is the Republican Party, another story. But he is that typical jerk-off. And when he said that line, I mean, I already hated him. And when Father Gabriel told him, this doesn't have to be terminal, it just makes you a tremendous shit. I mean, he was right on the money. But it did have to be terminal. He tried to be a snitch. And, remember when he told Rick, basically, we should thank you, especially how'd that work for Abe and Glenn. I don't know how. I thought he was getting his ass kicked right then. But Rick kept his temper and basically said, don't you ever say that again or I'll knock your teeth on your throat. Say yes. And you definitely heard Fletcher say yes. Fletcher's a coward. He's a little bitch. And definitely glad he died in the way that he died in the comics. His death scene was iconic. It was amazing on the TV and on the show. I applaud it. Thank you guys. Not thank you guys for me. Thank you guys, The Walking Dead, for making sure that scene was exactly what it should be. Spencer, you got it. You're gone. I loved your character and how you played it because you played it how it was supposed to be played, and that's why you were hated the way you were hated. Now, my number one, and y'all can suck it. Sorry, guys. That's enough. Or, that is enough. Yeah, it is enough, Shane. You're dead. Rick took your ass out, and Carl finished it, made sure you couldn't go walk and bite nobody. You, sir, were played tremendously. You were done so well. The actor's name, who I know, but it just, I'm racing for thought here, it doesn't come to my mind, but he did a tremendous job in playing the Punisher. Anyhow, he did a tremendous job playing Shane. And I disagree. Shane showed who he was in season 1. I've heard people say that Shane didn't really turn until he shaved his head. Bullshit. Shane was an asshole. And I actually understood Shane and respected Shane even after the Laurie thing because shit happens. It's a crazy time. I ain't judging Laurie for it. I ain't judging Shane for it. Shit happens. People can say, well, I wouldn't do it for my best friend's wife. Guys, you're not in the situation. You have no idea what it's like. You can't say what you would do. You don't know. So I don't fault Shane or Laurie for that. My fault with Shane is when Rick comes back and he points that gun on him that first time. That is enough for me to hate you, Shane. You were a douchebag from that point on. I understand in the start of season 2, you were being there for Rick, and you were trying to be there for Laurie, you were being there for Carl, but then you killed Otis. Now, people say, well, but you had to, so Carl could live. Hell, he could have let himself die and let Otis live. That's what Rick would have done in that situation, I believe. I don't think Rick in season 2 would have shot Otis. Now, was Shane right or wrong? We can argue that till the cows come home about shooting Otis. It doesn't matter. It's neutral. The point is, from that moment on, now everybody else knew what I already knew, which was Shane was a douchebag himself and had severe mental problems and was a control freak, was a jealous freak, and he already felt Laurie was his property. When he tried to sexual assault Laurie, I wanted to come through that screen and beat his ass. When she dug her nails into his neck, I was like, cut his balls off. Get him, Laurie. Cut his fucking balls off. Seriously. Anybody that tells me Shane was a good person, he meant well, he just lost his mind, is wrong. They're ignoring the two things in season 1. Well, and some can say 3, but I don't count the first one fucking Laurie. Some people do. So if you count that, that's 1. Number 2 was putting the gun on Rick when Dale caught him. And the number 3 was killing Otis. In season 1, was putting the gun on Rick, and Dale caught him. Seriously. And then followed up with he tried to assault Rick in season 2 because he'd already lost his mind. He had already killed Otis. And he told Laurie flat out, which backs everything I've said about Shane, ever, which was I don't care about anybody else here besides you and Carl. So Shane is my most hated character, and I don't have any regrets. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree. But to me, it's not, which makes it an opinion, but to me, it's almost not an opinion, you know? Because it's like, when you try to kill your best friend so you can be with his wife and his kid, you're an ass and you're a douche, and I can't wait till you die. In a TV show. In real life, it's like, just go kick rocks, go away. In a TV show, and you're the villain, and there ain't no doubt, you are my most hated character. I'm sorry. Not even lean back Negan. So, Negan's not in my top 5 right now, but he may get there. He should be my top 5 because he killed my favorite character, Glenn. But not yet. Negan's still got some work to do. Didn't even make my top 5. So my top 5, folks, again, was Carol, Gareth, the Governor, Spencer, and number 1, Shane. So stay tuned for my next video. I will be doing a reaction video tonight, which will be my last video. I'm only doing 3 videos today. My last video will be the reaction video, which I'll try to have up late at night, middle of the morning. My reaction video to episode 9 of The Walking Dead tonight. Look forward to that. Check out these 2 videos beforehand. We'll see you guys next time right here on Trending Interactive Studios. Peace, guys.